Analysis of the scene caught from the film Rabbit Proof Fence. We can see here in the first scene of the excerpt caught, we can see the Jigalong camp. The Jigalong camp is located in the middle of nowhere. We can see that Gracie and Daisy are playing with a can or something like that, while we can hear sounds from the animals in the background, which shows that the camp is surrounded by animals. And also the atmosphere feels nice and calm. Afterwards, the atmosphere changes because we can hear the animals start to scream and make sounds. So Molly and her family can feel something is going to happen. It also seems that there's not much going on in the Jigalong camp, and therefore they are also surprised by this car here that pulls up from the desert. The situation becomes dramatic, um, and the background music changes, and the sounds create action that something is wrong. Molly and her siblings were in the Jigalong camp because they weren't caught yet. But then the situation changed, and they were being haunted because they needed to go to the Moore River settlement. And the Jigalong camp is also located far away from Moore River settlement. So there's a long way home for Molly, Gracie, and Daisy when they want to walk back home to the Jigalong camp. When the girls are being haunted, the situation is filmed by a handheld camera, which makes the scene more dramatic and realistic. And I also think that the scene feels more authentic because the camera moves. The scene where the girls are taken away from the mother and grandmother is a point of view shot. Um, because we should feel like we are seeing the situation from the girl's point of view. Also, in these intense minutes, there are many close-ups, which we see in the following clip from minute 1:04 to minute 2:18, which we also see here on the picture. There is many close-ups, and the many close-ups help like to show the feeling of the main characters, while we as the recipients sympathizes with the little girls, which sets in motion of a lot of feelings and thoughts, which I also think this clip should also help to show. Uh, so in the following uh, clip, when the girls drive away and leave the Jigalong camp, we as recipients uh, sympathizes with the girls and their family. We also see here in the picture, it is minute 2:24 when the girls are looking for the mother in the window as they drive further uh, away from the Jigalong camp and their own freedom. And I also think that the filmmakers want us to think about the horrors of the past as being an original, and how the girl's freedom can be taken away from them without even knowing why. And we see in the next clip from minute 2:25 to 2:31, we see that the filmmakers have made use of these long shots. Here, it is used to show the surroundings, and the filmmakers are trying to show that the girls are leaving the Jigalong camp and driving away into the desert, um, and to the Moore settlement. And you also, as a recipient, get the feeling of like emptiness, and and what is going to happen to these girls. And the two last questions is that how do the filmmakers create a spiritual bond between the Aboriginals and nature in this scene? In the scene, the girls are trying to escape out of the Jigalong camp and into the wild countryside with their mother and grandmother. Um, and it shows that they probably do it because they were born and raised in the free nature and they prefer to live in the wild. And we also look at the spiritual bond between the Aboriginals and the nature in one of the last scenes where the girls are being hunted, and then they afterwards driven away. We can clearly see that the grandmother on the picture here is doing some spiritual stuff because she knocks a stone into her head while the mother of Gracie, Daisy, and Molly is crying. But I also think that it sounds a bit like someone is humming a tune, uh, and it also shows that the mothers have a spiritual bond with the nature, and also many associate the earth with being spiritual. And when you give nature a calling, nature has a soul and life. And I also think that therefore, in this case, it can be a prayer to the nature because they hope the nature hears them. I also think it can be a call to the bird hovering around the rabbit-proof fence. So when the girls are going to need help when they walk back to the Jigalong Cape, the bird will hear it and come for them. And the last question, describe the change in film style from before the intervention to during the intervention. Um, uh, I would say that before the intervention, the Jigalong camp felt calm and very relaxed. And it also feels like a completely normal day. We can go back to this picture. It feels like a completely normal day. But after the situation, um, but after the intervention, I think that the situation is very heated and intensive because of the intervention. Also, that I said before, the music gets louder and more dramatic, while before the intervention there were a bird sound that indicates peace and calmness in the Jigalong camp. Um, yes.